Hi everyone. This reading I want to dive into, well, first I want to look at whether or not Congress will, work or legislate, actually, create some laws to protect us against these media moguls, I don't know, such as Facebook. And then I know I've read on Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg before, but those readings are in my library and of course would still apply. But I want to do an update and let's look at Mr. Zuckerberg's, reminding of that book called Zucked. Anyway, I want to look at his future. What's going to happen to this guy? Or how, what changes may he go through? Maybe he will get off his, well, actually, he's lying at this point. He's lying. After this whistleblower report, he's lying. So let's see how that goes for him, and let's look at his future. So, okay, I'll stop talking, drop the camera down, and draw some cards, and then talk some more. Okay, hope you guys are doing well. Hold on, be right back. Okay, so I'm going to use this deck here, this Poppy Palin's Everyday Enchantment Tarot, but I have left all the cards upright because this deck is designed that way. First using the tarot to check in, will Congress legislate to control Facebook? Will Congress eventually get to that place where they legislate, create some laws to control Facebook? And I'm sure that it would affect all the other platforms like, Twitter and of course Facebook owns Instagram and WhatsApp and Messenger, Facebook Messenger. I think they own WhatsApp. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, will Congress legislate? Let's look at this in the future. Or are they planning on it right now? There's one card. Yeah, there's new plans. Oh, because they're wanting to protect children. Oh, yeah, okay. Will Congress legislate to control Facebook? That's right. It's been so painful. I mean, I've known this for years. You don't, if you're a teenager on Instagram and you're not, what's her name? One of the Kardashians or something. I mean, it's just awful what they do. It's just really awful. Will Congress legislate to control Facebook? Well, I've got a lot of yes cards here. And it's right, at the heart level. So this is a yes card. The Ace of Wands is a yes card. She's going to paint, but this could be you put this type of, it's the second highest energy card in the entire tarot deck. Out of 78 cards, we've got the Sun and the Ace of Wands as the highest energy cards. And so this is, yes, this is a brand new beginning. It's good news. It brings in, you could literally write new laws. She's going to be painting, but this could be writing new laws. And then we have, like I said, starting out with the Page of Cups. Well, the children have the problems with children, the psychological damage that has happened, the depression, the negative self-image that Facebook and via Instagram has pushed upon these children. It's like we can't do that anymore. They need to love themselves and love their bodies just the way they are. No child needs to be put in this position where they think they need to be something in order to be loved and approved of and accepted. And it's, it's such a real need for connection, for a child to connect with other people. So, yeah, So that's what brought it in. It's bringing it home. This is, I think, the driving force here is the way I'm going to see it. With the Four of Wands, this is a big old yes card. This brings in family, brings in something very satisfying, something that everybody cares about. There will be a lot of support for them to legislate. I think maybe the family that gets on these on the Congress people, on the representatives, the senators and the reps, to get this done, get it going. And then I'm going to go mostly with the image on this card. With the Hanged Man, it could be that it takes quite some time, but it could also be, imagine this is like all the dads, right? And they're like, oh my goodness, we can't let this happen to our children. We can't let our children, look at this little girl screaming back there. What are you doing, you crazy guy? And there's a spider. There's all kinds of things here. Look at the gal. She's like, oh my, what's he doing? Yeah. So this is the place, and here's a woman talking back here on her cell phone. So this, to me, this is a very community-oriented card in this deck, and it has to do with seeing that there's because the Hanged Man is always, looking at things from a different perspective. Well, now there will be the energy to look at things from a different perspective, and we can't, for the health of our children, or, coming up in the world, we cannot let this just go. We can't let it go. We have to work on it. And that's further reiterated here with the Ace of Cups, because the Ace of Cups is a new heartfelt beginning. And something that we can celebrate in the future. Excellent. Okay, so let's do it this way. Well, it doesn't matter the way I draw cards from a fan, but let's do it this way. I'm going to reshuffle, and then I'm going to ask, how's it going to go for Mark Zuckerberg? What's his future? What is Mark Zuckerberg's future in regards to this? Well, and anyway, let's do 5 cards on Mark Zuckerberg. He has 58% of control over the board of Facebook. So this is on him. And now that this whistleblower has come out and she's spilled all the beans, how's it going to go for him now? Okay, right there. Mark Zuckerberg's future. Queen of Cups. Oh no, Queen of Pentacles, I'm sorry. 8 of Swords. 6 of Wands. Yeah, he's recognized for something. 3 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords. Wow. Okay. So, I'm going to have to hold them up because, well, I can leave these. Let's do it this way. You can look at those if you want. But here's our first card. So this is women that care. This is the mothering instinct, the practical, place that is the practical mom that's really nurturing on all levels, and and they're not gonna sit down. This is also, I think, the whistleblower, because she came out with documents. I think she had all kinds of documents. It's like, check out the cards. Like, here you go. Here you go. You might not even have to pay me. I'm going to do it for free, right? Yeah. And then, so this is the cause here. This is what's going on. And then this is the effect for Mark Zuckerberg. It's like, oh no. And maybe his wife even wants to get away from him. I've read before that his wife has insomnia, that, like chronic insomnia, like she never gets sleep. And this was before she, got pregnant and had a little, I think they have a little girl. They may have more kids by now, I don't know. But this was years ago I read that. So, yeah. I mean, this is like something you cannot get away from. You're restricted. So at the least, it will put restrictions on the platform, on Facebook. New laws to create restrictions. And then with the Six of Wands, there could be some victory for him, he thinks, but then here's what happens afterwards. Three of Swords. It's a whole lot of heartache there. Pins and needles into that heart, right? Jeez. And then followed by the Nine of Swords. Look at that. Like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? Man, razor blade around the neck? Yikes. There's a lot of imagery here. It's interesting, all the astrological symbols too. So this, this brings in that awareness of, so needing drugs to sleep. Yeah, because his soul is so just tortured. And then maybe the cycles, the astrological transits, the cycles that are coming up, will have this effect on him. Wowee. Okay, so let me use let's use a Kipper. Let's use Chero Marchetti's Kipper. And let's look at, legally, how's this going to go for him? How's this going to go for Facebook? Will Congress legislate to control Facebook? And also let's throw in how it will affect Mark Zuckerberg's future. Let's look at that. We can do it all together. Okay. Oops, obviously I have my cards upside down. It's all right. So, there's some money payout. Connections and meetings. Don't know who that woman is. Work. And there's Mark. Yeah. Looking at all the work that needs to be done in order to clean up his platform. Oh, this would be somebody in Congress that is really taking it on. Okay. Interesting. And this could be a younger person in Congress. Yeah, okay. Well, so the way I'm seeing it is there's some woman in Congress and some younger man who's going to make him pay for this. Who's going to create some type of a business. I do think that they will be legislating, and there might be a woman that heads the whole thing up. And it's going to be a type of contract on these, media platforms. Because if it's, I'll just start with Facebook because they've been the most egregious. But because Mark Zuckerberg is a greedy little, what, greedy bastard. That's what I'm going to call him. So anyway, there's some woman that will get this going and create some type of legislation, some contract that will get him thinking about how the platform. But I'm seeing this on two different levels. This mature woman, congressperson, representative, maybe even a senator, most likely on the Democratic side, right? Can't imagine any Republican doing diddly, will be working hard working hard to create, what needs to happen. And here's Mark just thinking it over, like, oh man, how much work am I going to have to do? How many people am I going to have to pay? Who, because they probably, because with this card having to do with money and contracts, the legislation will be that Mark Zuckerberg, that Facebook itself, this is going to have to be our stand-in for Facebook because he owns 58%, right? So, and he knights down here, he does have control over the contract and the dollar amount, but he's going to have to spend the money to hire the people to, to do what the legislation says. So there's a mature woman and a younger man in Congress and in the Senate who will, and I'm going to say for sure it's a Democratic side, maybe Democratic and the Independents. Who knows? With something like this, when it comes to protecting children, I'm thinking that we will see it come through on both sides, where Republicans will vote to get this through because, it's awful. The amount of money this guy, Mark Zuckerberg, has taken from Russian oligarchs and Putin himself. Do some research. If that doesn't piss you off, I don't know what would. And remember, in the election, in 2020, when that election was going on, he charged Biden 9 times. The Biden campaign paid 9 times the amount for ads on Facebook than he charged Trump. And remember, he went and visited Trump in the White House, and that's the deal they made. So they know, these people know about this. I'm sure Sheldon Whitehouse is working hard to get everything out about this, if he hasn't already. I haven't watched every single one of his videos, but anyway, this is Mark Zuckerberg under the wheel of work and thinking about that. This is his future, thinking about that. He is looking at doing all this work, but she's all, they're doing the work as well, because we're reading this on two levels. And then, yeah, so this could be a mature woman and a younger guy that will work together, have lots of meetings together, bring in each other's, bring in the gifts. Mark Zuckerberg himself will end up having to probably meet with these people as well and come to some type of an agreement, because he's looking at having to do all of that. The bad health, I don't know if it means, this could just be like like a down patch of, having some bad advice or bad, it's been a sickening situation, and it has caused a lot of discomfort, and they will have to do something. There will be lots of meetings to get it together to make sure this doesn't happen. On another level, this could be looked at in the way of they're thinking to legislate to protect children from sexual predators that could come through on these platforms. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let me draw another layer of cards here. Okay, so there's not only a woman, there's a mature woman and man, older woman and man. Sheldon, it could be Sheldon Whitehouse, but there's a younger guy. There's going to be many more. These two cards could be a stand-in for, of course, the whole group of representatives that care. Yeah, and this work, this long journey that it could take to get it done. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This card is all about the judicial process of discovery and making decisions and getting out from under these ridiculous, this awful place that we've been because of him. Yep, and his fraudulent ways, his theft, his deception, this is all going to come out. Because look, it's right there. It's him. Yep. And so it could affect his marriage, but then on another level, this card has to do with partnership. So this would be not only him, but somebody else he's been in partnership with. This could be that they will be looking at all of his partnerships, business partnerships. Wow. Okay, well that's interesting. Yeah, okay, but I'm going to close this reading up. I don't see any reason to use a deck of character. I mean, this is more like a legal kind. Well, I don't know. I could, but I don't think so. We can always look at it later as things come up, and I can use that deck on just Mark Zuckerberg alone. But I feel like, legally he needs to, like Flump would say, go through some things in order to grow and be responsible for his platform. He's trying to just be the, well, just remember in the beginning, Facebook's motto was move fast and break things. Well, they are broken. You broke them, Mark. Ugh. Deep breaths. Let go. But if I had young children, well, I do have granddaughters, but they're smart enough. They're old enough and smart enough to not buy into that. Well, they might a little. A couple of them might. I hope not. But, my prayers for these children too, children and young women and all women, everyone, to have their self-value in such a strong place that it has nothing to do with what they look like, clothes they wear, money they have, and all that rest, all that other stuff. So, okay, I'm going to say goodbye. Take good care, you guys.